Hey, good evening, and welcome to another segment of the New Black Leadership Coalition show here live at IntellectualRadio.com. Here live. Like to say good evening to you all that are out there all over the world viewing this, and for all of those who are viewing it via Facebook Live. It is such an honor, such a pleasure, and really a blessing to have this opportunity to talk with you and me tonight. And it won't just be us. In a very few minutes, I will be joined by my friend, my brother, Chairman Fred Hampton Jr. He'll be here shortly. But in the meantime, we're going to have a conversation. And I would like to just start that off by saying that every single opportunity that we have to be with each other, earlier I was doing a show, and I think we should not take it for granted. We should be thankful that we could talk to each other, listen to each other, learn from each other, and understand that all we have is each other. And so I'm very, very thankful that being a member of the New Black Leadership and a host of this show, along with the co-host, Minister Michael Muhammad, we are very, very thankful that God has deposited in us a spirit of love, a spirit of courageousness, a spirit of conviction, and a spirit of really trying to get it right in terms of ourselves and our community. And I'm telling you, I always say this, and this is the truth. I really don't have an equal over the airways. I don't. And it's a fact. You can listen to Roland Martin, you can listen to D.L. Hughley, you can listen to uh, Matt McGill, Cliff Kelly, you can listen to Steve Harvey, Tom Joyner, you can listen to Michael Bazin, all of them. None of them all put together have what I'm bringing to you all. And why? It's because they have not had the supreme teachings. And if they had the supreme teachings, you would hear those things coming from them. I mean, we all have a gift, and some call it a gift to gab. But even with the laughter that I bring, even with all of that, what we really are after is the upliftment of a people. I mean, it's really about turning this condition around. I mean, it doesn't look good right now when you look out there in the world and you see all of the violence, you look at the poverty, and you look at many of the things that's happening and throughout America, and you realize that we are at a crossroad. And I know we've gone through, or you all have gone through, I'll say we, this last election. And I think some people have yet to settle down and understand that there's still a group and a segment of our people who intend to take this all the way to the inauguration. So they're going to protest, march, and what have you. And you know what? That they could do that. That's on them. And I'm not going to be critical, but I just don't think none of that is going to make a difference. That's all. And so I would think it would be better to use that energy, to use that time, that effort, and that money that it costs to sponsor that, to focus on what we could do to clean up our blocks, to clean up our community. See, leadership is so critical right now. And all of us have to have enough courage and insight to call each other's out. We got a meeting, or more so an emergency roundtable that's coming up soon. And all of you all, and I said this last week, you will be invited to this roundtable leadership, emergency leadership roundtable, not discussion, but conversation, so we can make sure to see who's really on board and who's on the sideline and who's out there just running to be in the cameras, behind the mic, but you really don't want to unify to effectively do this together. So everyone is going to be called to this meeting, and you're going to have to be accountable. You cannot continue to be self-appointed. You run around here and you act as though we have chosen you to be our spokesperson. And so we want you at the meeting, and we are not trying to dictate to you that you can be involved with city government, state government, federal government. You can do whatever kind of programs you like, but we need to be on the same page. If you are speaking on behalf of Black people, then we all need to be on the same Black page. And that's a fact. And let me just say this to those who would like to join this conversation, you can. I'm at 708-223-8953. 708-223-8953. If you would like to join this conversation, you might want to say something before the chairman gets here, or you can talk right now. I can see that some of you all are posting some things, and I cannot see or read because it's a little far away from me. But I would like to hear what you have to say. And you just pick up the telephone. The line is clear right now if you have something to say. But I believe, as a Black man here in America, we must unify. And we got the answers. We have the solutions. We have always had them, but why we don't implement it is really the big elephant in the room. Why are we not implementing what we know need to happen in order to get us out of this condition? And we are in a bad condition. And I know we are so routine. It's easy for us to get up on a Sunday morning and we know we plan that. And we get up at a certain time and we go to church and we do certain things in the church and we do certain things when we leave. Well, we got to be about that business every single day. We should be planning it as though it is, and you just can't look for God on Sunday. That's my point. You got to, have that relationship Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and not just wait to express ourselves in a spiritual way on that day, and then the rest of the week, I'm not saying Satan has us, but we definitely don't seem to be on that same vibe, on that same square. And I mean, we got to do it. I mean, you tell me. I read a lot of posts, and I attend a lot of functions, and I try to be involved with much networking. But I think you and I both know that all we have right now is each other. And today, that's why the guest that I'm bringing on, it's a very serious conversation that we're going to have about the Black Panthers and the work that they were able to do here in America. And Fred Hampton Jr., the chairman here in Illinois, he's a very, very, very well thought out brother. And when he shows up, we're going to have that conversation. But before that conversation, I'm really, really concerned with, I hear Mays Jackson saying, what's in it for Black people? And I think that's a great thing to say. I think every conversation that we have, whether you the alderman, whether you the state rep, whether you are the senator, or whatever your post is, everything should be what's in it for Black people. Every table that I sit at, every table, I don't care who it is, I want to know, how does this policy, how does this conversation, how does this strategy, how does this plan, how does it benefit Black folks? I mean, and all of us need to be thinking. And I got white Facebook friends, I got white friends, I got folks of different ethnicity that are my friends. And I say the same thing to them. If they sit right here in this room, anything that we come up with, I want to know, how does it benefit black folks? I mean, we tired of being behind the 8 ball. We're tired of the same song and dance. I mean, aren't you tired? I mean, I looked at the weatherman the other day. The weatherman sensationalized even giving the weather. He does that more than he does the crime. When they talk about crime, they talk about it in a way where it seems as though, hey, let me just give you how many. It's almost like a football game, a sporting event. You know, they just give you the stats. It's not said in an urgency way as though it's not their community. I don't know if you all have ever picked up on that. But when they give information regarding the crime, most of the news channels, they tell that news as though that's happening somewhere far away. They don't make it seem as though it's hurting them. They pissed. They don't come to the mic like that. And I guarantee you, if we came to the mic like that and we were talking about the crime, the atrocities that's taking place, we would not just be saying it as though we giving you just some extra data. We would say, look, folks, we got to do something about this tonight, tomorrow. What do we do? What can we do, Gregory saying? What can we do? The first thing that you can do is try your very best to build real, authentic relationships. Stop being phony and open up and decide that we are now going to be a community. No matter how many folks on that block want to be friends or want to relate. Let me just say this. I'm going to take a very short break, Don't go. Don't turn this off at all. I'm staying live. I want to take a break. I'm going to bring on my guest. When I come back, I will be sitting here with Fred Hampton Jr. So don't go away, because you got to hear this story with the chairman in the next couple of minutes. So I'll be right back. Don't move from this program. Don't move. All right. I'm back. And as I promised, I am here sitting with none other than the chairman, Fred Hampton Jr. And it is such an honor, brother, to have you on the show. I know you got caught up in traffic, yes, but we were not going to go too far without you. Right on. So how you doing, man? I know it was an anniversary. Yes. We're going to get into that, but how you doing?
I'm good. Spirits are good. I'm honored and humbled to be here with you, brother. You know what I'm saying? So ready to roll, ready to make history, and tape history.
Yes, sir.
Yes, indeed.
Let me tell you, I don't know where to start, because this is a personal conversation for me, as well as one that I want the audience to be educated on, because it's so important to be educated on this and to know a massacre, yes, a horrific, terroristic, yes, massacre, execution, slaughter that took place. And there are people in this world that believe in humanity, all agree this is not a black thing. This is a wicked, wrong thing that took place, and is one of the worst atrocities that ever happened in this world, based on the work and based on the good deeds that these honorable men were doing. And so, brother, December the 4th.
Yes, indeed.
We just came from the anniversary, right? It was just the anniversary.
47th year.
47 years ago, your father and Mark Clark, and I know what Huey wasn't there, but it was Mark, and who else?
Chairman Fred and Defense Secretary Mark Clark were subsequently assassinated. However, there were other party members in the house. In fact,
in the bed, sleep.
Yes. My mother to be, Kua and Jerry, formerly known as Deborah Johnson, also the widow, and also the comrade of Chairman Fred. She literally felt the shells coming through the mattress when the police were shooting inside the home, and when she had covered over Chairman Fred's body. The Chicago Police Department, they pulled her out of the room, and they opened her robe and jammed a pistol to her stomach.
Can I just? I really don't want to call those individuals police. I want to call them what they really are. Those terrorists.
Real talk.
They are worse. They were worse than Al Qaeda, than the Taliban, than what you call ISIS. They were the scum of the planet. And I'm not going to call Harrihan Mister or J. Edgar Hoover. These were two of the most despicable people and animals to ever live. And I mean, the worst of humankind that participated in that type of murder. And I'm saying this with passion because I benefited from the free breakfast as a little boy living in the Robert Taylor homes. If it were not for the Panthers, I would have went to school some days starving. And not just me, but many of my friends. And I knew the work that they were doing. So it's very personal to me. And so for you, your father, knowing what went down, and when they spoke about pigs and revolution, that didn't come because they were hateful. That came because of what was happening to black people.
The party conducted this work out of a love for the people. In fact, as Commandante Ernesto Che Guevara said, a revolutionary is guided by the most sincere sentiments of love. And even I want to try to appear, I tend to be as objective as I can. Like people say, why you never say that, you just don't say the police killed your daddy. I think it's important we put in this correct political context. The United States government assassinated one of our most charismatic, courageous representatives, that being Chairman Fred. That doesn't negate that he's my father, but this was a part of a program, the protocol police terrorism. This was not an aberration from what the police do. The deal is, as I said in many cases, though the government graphically, as you just pointed out, blatantly took my father from me. In one way or another, this system is, and attempts to continue to take all of our fathers, whether by shooting them down, stringing them out, punking them out, locking them up, in some sort of way. There were a number of different attempts the U.S. government had to take Chairman Fred from the streets. People heard about the infamous letters that the U.S. government sent to the various street organizations. We've seen one case with then leadership of the Blackstone Rangers, Jeff Ford, Chief Malik, where the U.S. government had sent bogus letters saying that the Black Panther Party was trying to take over your territory, so on and so forth, trying to create an antagonistic situation. Where Chairman Fred was able to go rap with these brothers and still win at some point of political unity. And we've seen the case with FBI had told the vice lords that they would give them a portion of the west side of Chicago, 16th Street. In fact, it's documented in a book called Up on Madison, down on 79th Street by John L. Rice, in which the FBI said they would give them this 16th Street under the condition that the Black Panther Party do not be able to open a free medical center on 16th Street. He won them at some point of political unity. So later, even they gave him a trumped up case, the infamous ice cream truck robbery, in which they claimed that Chairman Fred supposedly took $75 worth of ice cream from the Good Human ice cream and gave it to the children. In which his response was, even though they made me out to be a thief, they made me out to be a Robin Hood type of thief. And when he got down to, I think he was transferred from Stateville later to Menard, there were prisoners who I met in 1999 who were down there in 1969, and they were supposed to hit Chairman Fred, take him out. The warden had made a deal with him. When Chairman Fred got on the prison yard with him and rapped with him, they told the warden, we on Chairman Fred's security. Anything happen to him, we holding you accountable for. And we've seen subsequently what we've seen this government result to the move they did December 4th, 1969, with the assassinations of 21-year-old Chairman Fred and Defense of Lamar Clark. But it was a protocol police terrorism, and it wasn't just the usual suspect, not just the hand your hands, not just the gangster daily machine, Richard Milhouse Nixon, who was the president, the infamous COINTELPRO, the counterintelligence program, and there were, there were Negro pigs on there also. The infamous James Gloves Davis, who was reported to fire one of the last fatal shots in the head of Chairman Fred. And this is, again, part of the protocol police terrorism in which the government has said itself the Black Panther Party had to be destroyed by the end of 1969. That was a death blow to our Black Power movement. December 4th, 1969. Though the Black Panther Party suffered a military defeat, ideologically they won. What we mean by that is that to this day, whatever street corner you go on, just the mere mention of the Black Panther Party, the people still with love and admiration, but this government is still attacking that legacy. Where Chairman Fred is buried at in Haynesville, Louisiana, his tombstone is shot up annually. Right now, as we speak, places like Menard, if you get called a photograph of me or him, Chairman Fred Sr., you get 6 months added to your sentence in Illinois prisons, Illinois concentration camps. Right now to this day, 6 months isolation and 6 months commissary to now. They don't want a generation to know about. You know what I'm saying? The contribution that not only Chairman Fred, but the Black Panther Party in general, they provided for our people.
That's amazing. Just like during Black History Month, they don't want the Honorable Elijah Muhammad name or the Honorable Brother Minister Farrakhan name to be mentioned. So you're afraid of certain individuals. Why? Why? What do they have in their mouth that makes them such a threat?
Black Panther Party said the information is raw material for new ideas. Information is raw material for new ideas. And the deal is, even when you are and you remain to be under attack, we can look at case examples like even in Iraq, under the tenure of George Bush Sr. One of the results after the U.S. aggression against Iraq, I think over 78% of the population was subsequently under 17 years of age. So you have a whole populace that's not even familiar about previous situations, previous contradictions. So it's strategic. They'll say that a community be deprived of any information. They'll say that works in the interest, of the respective people that you colonize, that you are oppressing.
Right, and they were so determined and understood the importance of education. Your father promoted education in the highest form, and it don't make sense, but it makes sense that many other Black men and women and some Caucasians have been turned on by a segment or body of the government that wants to rule from people being ignorant. It is always about people being ignorant. And that's why the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, when you talk about Black power, and me being influenced by both, I understood it was about Black self-righteousness. It was about Black people pulling themselves up by their own bootstrap, doing what we needed to do. It wasn't about being anti-zero. It wasn't anti-police. It wasn't anti-government. It was anti-wickedness.
And it should be, a difference should be pointed out that even when you talk about such terms as education, not in the quote-unquote conventional sense, and it's important, like we say, when we talk about politics, it's important that we distinguish politics from electoral politics, because the deal is everything is political. And also it's important with our community in particular that we be able to distinguish being educated as opposed to being trained. You know what I'm saying? That is so important. And just to go at touch back on another valid point you just laid out, that again, even Sheikh Anta Diop talk about the history of our people. We come from a society where it doesn't have to be an antagonistic contradiction. In other words, this society that we're subjected to, it puts out, one comes at the expense of another. In other words, that this is a society that for a warden to be successful, people have to be locked up.
That's right.
For a drug dealer to be successful, people have to have habits. So there's a misnomer and there's bogus propaganda put out, that this whole hate the white man, so on and so forth. But the deal is that when you talk about our survival, that's as I mentioned earlier, the whole thing about a love for our people. Now we say don't get it twisted. And we will do the initial name for the Black Panther Party was the Black Panther Party for Self-Defense. But it should also be put in the correct political historical context that this system drew first blood. So again, we gotta be real careful when we talk about violence, and so on and so forth. Reverend Nat Turner was not a violent man.
I wouldn't give a damn what somebody say when it comes to violence, because how the hell you get to where you are right now in this country if it wasn't for some damn violence? Shut up.
No doubt about it.
Damn hypocrite. The nerve and the audacity to talk about what happened to the damn natives.
Yeah, real talk.
What happened to our people in slavery
and what's still
that
happening?
You murdered? Get the hell out of here,
and
man.
What's still happening?
I don't ever want to hear that. And anybody that bring that foolishness and you want to act like you in fear of the Panthers, in fear of the nation, you a damn lie. People are in fear of you because your record is full of blood. I mean, your hands dripping with blood. And now you're doing it with GMO. I mean, all forms of murder.
Yes,
Got
indeed.
the nerve, man. I mean, I get pissed when we gotta justify defending our survival.
And we should struggle with the masses of people. We have to struggle not to become engaged in what we call the sidetracking of the slave. In other words, we've seen the case of Rodney King. The moderation put forward by the system was he speeding or not? You know what I'm saying? So we have to get a confidence within our people as not the OGs but the OVs, the original victims of terrorism. You know, people who've been terrorized with such euphemisms as slavery, Jim Crow, gentrification, so on and so forth. A confidence, not as you just point out, not to engage even in the sidetracking. You know, even giving them no energy. You know what I'm saying? Because again, historically, who has been a criminal, and we say it's right to be a fight. Either we are victims, be a fighting back victim. Anything the oppressed do to get the oppressor off its back is justified.
Man, listen, don't you know if the system, you mentioned the warden and filling up the jails, that's on the stock market. Don't you know if they wanted to make sure bullets and guns did not get in the hands, and then you got a group of people and that's gonna say, well, you can have the guns and the bullets, but you don't have to use them. Please, that's true, but I guarantee you, if it was going a whole nother way, they'll run out of bullets in one night and would not be able to find a bullet or a gun. They make them accessible because they know what the real deal is. And yeah, we got to stop killing each other. We got that, but we got to stop being killed too.
That's even I definitely want to touch on that. We will be remiss, like even what's happening in Chicago or Chirac, and a lot of people have an issue with that term. We add on to the old adage in which says God created Africans and America made niggas. The mayors and the machine manufactured Chirac. What's happening in the city is a microcosm. What's happening through every oppressed community throughout the country. It's not by happenstance on a weekly basis. On 59th and Normal, Inglewood. I mean, train loads, literally. You know what I'm saying? A high-powered assault rifles, fully put together, dropped, putting in the hands of these babies. You know, again, this is done by design. And a lot of people say, "Oh man, here comes Chairman Fred." You know what I'm saying? The Black Panther Party cuz they always want to blame the white man or blame the system, and we do. You know what I'm saying? Because you can literally see the pigs' hoof prints on every dynamic that's happening within our community. And we talk about even with the guns, the history of the gun. Only time you seen the state raise up, to fight to deprive our community, our people, of the right to bear arms, is in response to some uprisings, some resistance. Whether you're talking about, talking about the Emancipation Proclamation, or we're talking about the infamous Mulford Act, 1967, Senator Mulford, which is really known as the Panther Bill, where he literally called to disarm the community in response to the Black Panther Party, also politicizing the people in general being armed, because this government ain't got no problem with you taking guns, like you just mentioned, getting down amongst each other.
I've never heard that. I haven't. Now, maybe it's in some books that the Klansmen was ever raided. The Ku Klux Klan, were they ever raided by the government?
The Klansmen should also be put in a similar conversation. We talk about different dynamics such as the mafioso of the past, or even the present day cartel in the city of Chicago. These are not some sort of isolated entities. The deal is they have a democratic space. In other words, the space to move around, do as they will. Similar to years back, former director of the FBI, J. Edgar Hoover, he denied the mafioso even existed. You know what I'm saying? And contrary to this whole propaganda, they put out this Elliot Ness, so on and so forth. The Fed, J. Edgar Hoover, who was initially a simple DA, a district attorney, whose career was built on the attack on Marcus Garvey and UNIA. And the deal is that the mafioso, the Klansmen, the cartel in Chicago, these different entities are, for lack of better terms, madams or liaisons for this pimp of a system. You know what I'm saying? The floodgates to bring the heroin, the crack, and various forms of plantation poison throughout our communities. So, I mean, for lack of better term, they government employees. You know what I'm saying? These white dudes on these rural farms, so on and so forth. They not, you know what I'm saying? They not this intelligent, were able to move away in the government.
They just put the sheets on.
I mean, they are giving not only they giving the green light, the go ahead to do as you will, as we've seen with Luciano. They call who wasn't unlucky about him. He was on the government payroll. You know what I'm saying? With the whole thing about El Chapo. Why do you think the movie El Chapo was allowed to play in every city throughout the country, where they refused for the movie El Chapo to be played in Chicago? You know what I'm saying? Because the whole connection, this happened in this city. They don't want that to be exposed. It'll pop up with a Pandora's box. It's on the government payroll.
And man, I think about Move. You know, me and Mike, we were over at the final call when they dropped the bomb on Move in Philadelphia.
Yes, indeed.
And I mean, what a wicked atrocity that
May 13th, no doubt about it. Act of terrorism.
A real major
yes,
act
indeed.
of
Osage Avenue was a ground zero within our communities. And even the follow-up, the remaining survivors, Ramona Africa, who's still getting down to this day. Birdie Africa, the young child that survived, who last year, quote unquote, mysteriously died in a hot tub on a cruise ship. You know what I'm saying? Who was a documented athletic swimmer. You know what I'm saying? This system maintains a long memory. And on the other end, we got to start struggling, you know what I'm saying, keep maintaining memory like Kenyan elephants to never forget.
Yeah, but we so locked out personally or by our own stupidity, where information like this we dismiss. Well, not all of us, because I believe there's people out there listening all over the world right now, and Facebook Live or wherever they listening, and they'll be watching it on YouTube, etc. They know this is valuable because, you know, one of the things about other groups is like they talk about stuff so it's not repeated. It's not repeated, and we understand the strategy or the game plan. And when you mention and articulate like you do this revolution, you know, it means change. It means change. And I mean the jihad, you know, means a struggle internally as an individual and as a community, but never to dismiss the fact that we have an open enemy, an individual that is bent on, as you say, the way it works with the clan is that they operate in the free market, society. But, at the end of the day, we realize that there's a couple of dynamics when it comes to this struggle.
Yes.
And when we look at the brother, and I said this last week in response to, I think it was, who asked for this? Hermine Hartman. It was some silly proposition about pardon. I think that she was talking about on Facebook. She had a post about should President Obama pardon. She had Sandy Jackson, Jesse Jackson Jr. and Clinton, Miss Clinton down, etc. And I said, no, first they should do Jeff Ford and Larry Hoover. And I mentioned, who else, Mike? I mentioned Mumir.
Imam Jamil Al-Amin, formerly known as H. Rap Brown, the C numbers here in Illinois, and Sunday out of Coley. The whole question of our modern day Harriet Tubman, Sister Sada Shakur, who's in political exile.
Oh yeah, I love her.
To speak. And the deal is, even within in the black community, that's why we got to be real careful when we use the term we, because I think a lot of times our people in particular, we speak French too much at the wrong time. You know what I'm saying? And all of us don't have the same. All of us don't have the same interests.
Teach.
You know what I'm saying? And we have to be clear on that. So what some people see as priorities, like you say, talking about the whole Hillary Clinton, so on and so forth. The masses of people are dealing with real deal, serious situations. I'm talking about. I mean, you could they trying. Though technically this government is taking Mumia Abu Jamal off of death row, they still trying to kill Mumia Abu Jamal, still trying to kill H.R. Brown. You know what I'm saying? Because this system is so Machiavellian, they got ways of taking you out, whether it be through straight out, lethal injection or some form of chemical, biological warfare. You know, so some sort of disease. You know what I'm saying? Or having, as we've seen in the case of Larry Davis in New York, where they had you set up for a hit to get took out in the joint. So the deal is, in so many instances, the system would grab the more palatable individuals from our community, you know what I'm saying, and hold them up as spokespersons and say, well, what do you want? We have to struggle to say, no, the masses of people, we have different interests. It's nothing personal. And this is something we see with our movements, our music, and every other genre. It's a war tactic. When Genghis Khan of the Mongolians, when he went through China, he took out a certain type of Chinese population, but he grabbed a more palatable individual and raised them up and give them airtime. What do you want? What are your desires? So within our community, we must, as what Chairman Mao talked about, combat liberalism. Because in so many cases, as I said before and I'll say it again, there are a lot of people who are black when it's beneficial, Panthers when it's profitable. Black when it's beneficial, Panthers when it's profitable. You know what I'm saying? So the deal is, we're talking about the masses of people, the type who got to deal with these conditions. Some of the C numbers who are still held captive in Illinois. You know what I'm saying? These babies, these juvenile detention centers, them sisters in Cook County Jail who are forced to rinse out their sanitary napkins for reuse right now today. As we speak, the brothers in Pontiac, Illinois, who got to go on visits, you know what I'm saying, with black net mask over their face and rubber grill over the mouthpiece. These contradictions, it's an insult to not only history, but to the people, to even bring these softball type of things, to even have a discussion about should Hillary Clinton get a pardon. It shouldn't even no energy given to that type of discussion. They are wiping us out. We're not dead. We are being murdered one way or another. Again, we have to say again, everything is political. Everything is political. So it's certain discussions we can't even afford the luxury, you know what I'm saying, to engage in. And certain people cannot, we have to be very clear. Oh, no, you don't speak for us. You don't speak for me. You know what I'm saying? These are different softballs, safe arenas, and it's nothing personal. The masses of people have to fight to be, again, speak on our own terms. And that's the stage in the game that we're getting involved in now. You see, like, it's a different type of artist, a different type of athlete, a different type of victim. Notice even now, when you see these cases of police terrorism, not police brutality, police terrorism, as opposed to days of past, where you see automatically people just look for the usual suspects be brought in. They bring in Reverend Sharp, and the people say, well, I don't want to say nothing, wait for my lawyer to speak for me, or so on and so forth. You see a different dynamic now. You see, in plain layman's terms, that Mike Brown was gunned down before his mother even seen the body. She don't say, in plain layman's terms, she said they wrong. You seen in the case of Philando Castillo in Minnesota, the sister Diamond Lavish Reynolds, even when the pig was right there saying, well, this is what happened. She said, no, this is what happened. And you know what I'm saying, you gun them down. And then even when they locked her up, then she got out of jail. The first thing she said again, still, she had to say, well, let me go back, get myself ready for my press conference. Let me get my lawyer here, my spokesperson. No, this is the type of dynamic that's happening now, and the state smells it. Because the deal is, as Malcolm said before, they've historically, when they can't stop it, they will attempt to co-opt it, water it down, change it, make it something to be. If the initial march on Washington, they smelt the rumblings from the masses of people. And Kennedy, they call the Big Six, say, how can we co-opt this? How can we water it down? And you see a stage in the game now where the masses are speaking for themselves.
Man, I was so damn mad when I watched Sandra Bland. I was so pissed that I could not be there. I mean, honestly, that pissed me off.
Mm-hmm.
That you know, I don't know what happened inside. I mean, I highly suspect that baby was assassinated, murdered.
Mm-hmm.
But if I was so pissed to see that black woman, and we were not there. We were not there to interfere and you know, it's like you gotta believe in a God, man. You gotta believe in a higher power that will inspire us to be there, because we don't have a chance. You know, you mentioned these fake wannabe they Panthers when it's convenient. But I tell you, brother, when I just Sandra Bland alone, I mean Trayvon, that hurt me too. You know, that hurt me too. But I mean, I'm also hurt by what we do to each other, because you know we go and to the funerals, and we are in those communities where our people are turning on each other. You know, we're not happy about that, and we are trying our very best as a coalition. I know the new black leadership have members in this coalition that is actively right now engaged in stopping the violence, and it would be triple the amount had it not been for Minister Michael and you and so many others that's part of this coalition that are out there doing the work. I interfere every day. I'm interfering because the psychological warfare of people that hate themselves, and we've been taught and been given a prescription, you know, a medicine, man, that if it were not for Almighty God, boy, I'm telling you, we would not be here.
I should knock on wood. The new black leadership, brother, even though it's in times we don't be in contact with each other a lot of times, brother. We know and we clench fist salute our brother Mike Muhammad. I mean, on a consistent basis. And the deal is doing unpopular work. You know what I'm saying? In the state, the system, they're not going to, you know, put no light on that. And a lot of people say, sometimes people tell me, say, Chairman Fred, what about the so-called the black on black violence? So we deal with that too. We just don't have press conferences on it. And it is a lot of issues within our community that, you know, again, that we're not saying this to, you know, poke our chests out, be bragging about it, but there is work that's happening. There is work that's happening.
That's what they were doing. Your father, they interfered with the David Boxdale and Jeff Ford. They got in between all of that.
And that's happening again. That is to be noted. I don't know. Though we're not satisfied with where we are now, but again, I'm saying it should be noted that this work is happening now. But a lot of times the system will not acknowledge certain dynamics, or a lot of our people won't acknowledge it, and it becomes a safe subject to talk about. They had put Muhammad Ali on the Wheaties box. I forgot what year it was. And the guy said, "Wow, Muhammad Ali was an extraordinary athlete back in the days. Why are you putting him on there now?" And the representative for the Wheaties cereal said, "We do it now because it's safe." You know what I'm saying? So I just want for is being a servant of the people and serving of history. You know what I'm saying? This ain't our first time meeting. This ain't our last time touching down. You know what I'm saying? I just want to say it again. So for nothing for the history books and for our people to understand this, there is stuff organized that's happening, because a lot of times you can become demoralized because every WGN news, other mainstream media, and a lot of so-called progressive press, they're going to give you the impression that nothing is happening.
And that's why they have the clowns on. They give us comedians on most of the stations. We got comedians,
no doubt about it,
all day.
Yes. And this is obliterating or maligning. In other words, straight out wiping out, not acknowledging. So I think it's important too, though we're not satisfied to where we at now, but it's important that people do acknowledge that there is some resistance happening. The brothers, we out there just touching down the different street organizations, the community in general. Again, not that we're satisfied, but people should know, in the interests of serving the people, in the interests of history, that there is some resistance happening.
Very, very, very good. Fred Hampton Jr. here live in the studio at Intellectual Radio. You can call in, have a conversation. I thought somebody was on the telephone. 708-223-8953. 708-223-8953.
We live and direct.
Live and direct, and not sugarcoating.
Yes, indeed.
Or watering down, you know, this information, because information is everything.
Believe that.
And I gotta steal that piece that you said in terms of we want to be black.
A lot of people want to be black when it's beneficial, Panthers when it's profitable.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Yes, indeed.
Yeah, and let me ask you this: the new Black Panthers, they say the new. There's nothing new under the sun
Hmm.
that I've been told, but I know what they, are trying to say when it comes to that. What has been your relationship with the new Black Panthers?
Let me just say, for clarity, I chair the Black Panther Party Cubs, or actually the organization, the POCC, Prisons of Conscience Committee, BPPC, Black Panther Party Cubs, um, the ideological offspring of the Black Panther Party. Some years back, there was a couple of some coalition that's working about political prisoners. But as of lately, I'm not. Yeah, I can't speak in regards to the new Black Panther Party, and that's important. That's not saying antagonistic type of way, but it's important that when you talk that for clarity, because I remember I was doing an interview with this lady. I think she was from the Chicago Sun-Times, and she for sound bites she's wanted to reference me or place me as new Black Panther. I said no, Black Panther Party Cubs. Well, it doesn't make a difference. I said okay, well let me say that you work for Chicago Defender. And she said, "Oh," and then she got offended. I say, "See, before you talk about like even points of unity, so on and so forth, especially in Chicago, and I'm not saying it from some sort of subjective type of way. It's a structural place. It's not like it used to be, but Chicago was and remains to be one of the top segregated cities within the country. So first of all, some clarity. Like, see, a lot of people say let's all come together. And the deal is, before you cook gumbo, you gotta say, okay, this is the onion, this is this. So you gotta be some clarity on what organization you represented, so on and so forth. This is one of the dynamics where the government was unsuccessful in creating an antagonistic situation between the Blackstone Range and the Black Panther Party. You follow what I'm saying? One of America's policies is to create chaos and then restore order. Create chaos and then restore order. How do you feel about Saddam Hussein? When the U.S. when U.S. aggression in Iraq, they put they flooded propaganda. It doesn't make a difference if you're a Shiite or a Sunni Muslim. And a lot of people say that's attractive. A lot of people want to say, oh, great, we all come together. You got some temporary quote unquote unity, but it's really not even unity because a lot of times it's uncontested. And now look at the contradiction that you have now. You follow what I'm saying? So it's important to have some clarity on what.
And then they got the audacity to say all of them coming forward that there was no weapons of mass destruction.
Which they was clear.
And on the paper, over every paper, weapons of mass.
Well, Chicago, this whole big image about the so-called war on gangs, which we know a lot of the situations, there's a lot of cliques out there as opposed to gangs. But again, it is so important when we talk about coalition, when we talk about organizations, clarity. And again, especially in Chicago, and because the deal is a lot of times you have situations where different entities exist. Like it's like even as a recent Chicago, there's been since I've been home, since I've been unleashed from prison, from the concentration camp, 2001. There have been a number of different organizations that have popped up, saying here today, gone tomorrow. Contested conditions. As I had a discussion with Malcolm Shabazz before he was assassinated, we was talking, and I was the grandson of Malcolm X. And I was just telling him some of the dynamics about, about being, I was held accountable. I see, and I tell this to a lot of people. I said, I'm not Chairman Fred Hampton Jr. simply because I look like him and talk like him. I'm held accountable. You know what I'm saying? People say, let me see what you're gonna do in TAM, Supermax. Let me see what you're gonna do in the street, when you organize these different street tribes. You know what I'm saying? Bring them to various points of unity. And the deal is, contested conditions are necessary. A shadow boxer, if it's just simply a shadow boxer, is a champ. If you ask him or her, never been in boxing rings, a shadow boxer. This is something like what we refer to as the abstract conscious artist. People be talking about, I can't believe RZA, he sold out. I said, no. These people will say they were never in contested conditions. You follow what I'm saying? So the deal is, one of the things the Black Panther Party Cubs we pride ourselves on is coalition. Record show. You know what I'm saying? However, we have a resume of all the forces that we deal with. You follow what I'm saying? You can ask about certain forces, this is that particular organization, this that niche, this is what they do, so on and so forth.
Right.
So these a lot of people, they shy away from contested conditions. We welcome them. And not that we are some sort of masochists, not that we look forward to pain, but it's important that you have these type of contested conditions because you get to learn yourself through struggle. One of the best cellies or cellmates that I had when I was locked up for 9 years was a guy by the name of Chairman Fred Hampton Jr. I studied him. I checked him out in isolation. I study his pros, his cons. You know what I'm saying? On hunger strikes. You follow what I'm saying? And that's when we talk about what's the relationship with different organizations, coalitions, so on and so forth. The deal is, before I even engage in these conversations, I tell people we don't play poker long distance. In other words, people just like somebody call in, man, I want to put a thousand chips in. Hold on, who is that? They got to get in and get on the ground. You follow what I'm saying? Because with that alone, you'll be surprised how much fat get cut from the meat. Just when you light the fire. So and that's what's in these heated conditions. You gonna see, like, even now. So we say nothing all good and nothing all bad. You know what I'm saying? This whole dynamic with this Trump, this Donald Trump phenomenon. It's an arrogance. You're similar to that can be correlated to the era of Richard Milhouse Nixon, when, you know, as opposed to the administrations of John F. Kennedy. You know what I'm saying? You know, this front. They're gonna pull the covers up that, you know, this is that. The lines are being drawn. What is your interest? And again, you learn yourself through contested condition and through struggle.
Wow. Fred Hampton Jr., brother, you can just keep talking on and on. I really, really appreciate this history, this education for the people. And look, this is real patriotism. This is how you make America great, by telling the damn truth. You cannot be, and great is not synonymous, and we've been taught, with good any damn way, because Alexander was the great, and so was the Depression. You know, and so we understand that great is not synonymous, but let's make America great again by telling the truth. And this is the highest form of humanity. And so as you are listening to this brother, you really should go into your scriptures, or stop going to church or the mosque or the synagogue when you don't see an example of scripture right in your face, where people are struggling and fighting oppression in the most real way. The jail piece, the hell piece, all of that is about a struggle that you claim to be part of. So unattach yourself to Jesus, because he talked just like this and he walked just like this. Yep, though he walked through the valleys of the shadow of death, he did not fear any evil. See, don't pick up my cross, pick up your own struggle, because you got one waiting on you. As they hated me, they will hate you too. See, if you can't connect your spirituality with this, then your spirituality is phony, out in space someplace, when you should attach yourself to a struggle and a struggling people. And that's why, you know, God got your back, got my back, got Mike's back, got Earl back, got the sisters back, and we believe in that higher power. Because if it were not for that higher power, then they would be successful. But you can't be that successful, because I'm not sure. Worry, you shouldn't worry about him anymore, because we have been blessed to produce many others. That's your real problem. Them the ones you need to be concerned with, because they got this information right now and they running with it, and they gonna just move out. Some of you predictable, scripted individuals that's in the way of real progress.
Garvey said, amongst a number of things he said, but he said, when all else fails to organize the people, conditions will. When all else fails to organize the people, conditions will. So, you know, again, so these are intense times.
Boy, and you said something that the minister said. He said, we here because the wind are blowing. And they talk about the dry bones in the valley.
Conditions.
Hey,
people ask me, Chairman, how many members do you have within the Black Panther Party? Cuz, and I tell people sometimes it depends on how many people the police done killed. You did, because the sad reality is that people get involved in struggle one of three ways: inspiration, aspiration, or desperation. Inspiration, aspiration, or desperation. And the deal is that we also add with that heat turns more than meat black. Heat turns more than meat black. Michael Jackson, first he said, don't make a difference if you black or white. When they came with their case, his tune changed. They don't care about us. Kobe Bryant started quoting Dr. King when that case happened. You know what I'm saying? I can't tell how many letters I get now. People say, man, it was 75 years in them concentration camps. Not them prisons, but them concentration camps. Chairman, ain't what you saying, that so on and so forth. And these are heated times. You know what I'm saying? Like you even see even things the Black Panther Party was talking about during the era of under the tenure of John F. Kennedy. The same John F. Kennedy that was so Machiavellian that even resulted with a lot of our grandparents in different churches with fans in church with the Kennedy and so on and so forth. But is that time?
Yeah, but no. Man, we've spent it well too, boy. Let me tell you something. Speaking of the conditions,
yes,
Donald Trump was the condition. The devil plans, and so does Almighty God.
Yes, indeed.
And Almighty God is the best of planners. And all we have to do is keep our eyes on the prize. You all have been listening to the New Black Leadership Coalition right here live at
Making History.
Intellectual for sure radio, because you made it really intellectual tonight.com. Peace and love. God willing, see you the same time, same place. I think next week is the holiday, right? Hollow Day. Peace and love.